Welcome back and thank you for joining us on Daybreak. Straight ahead, we'll move into our interactive segment, which of course is the phone-in segment where your voice matters as our viewers. And today we'll be looking at external examinations. Is public education dying in Nigeria? Now, the 2025 WAEC results are out and the numbers are alarming. Only 68.2% of candidates obtained 5 credits, including English and mathematics, marking this year's result the worst in 5 years. That's a drop from 72.1% in 2024, 76.3% in 2023, and 75.6% in 2025. The last time the performance was this low was back in 2021 when the pass rate stood at 65.2%. It's a similar story across other national exams. NECO 2025 recorded a pass rate of just 61% compared to 74% in 2024 and 71.6% in 2025. JAM shows a consistent decline as well, with only 24% of candidates scoring 200 and above this year. That figure stood at 30% in 2024 and over 40% in 2021. Now, these results raise urgent questions about the state of public education in Nigeria. Is poor infrastructure, underfunding, and lack of lack of qualified teachers driving the decline? Are students, especially in public schools, truly being prepared for success? This morning, we're turning the mic over to you. Call us now and share your thoughts. Is public education in Nigeria dying? Let's get to talk about this topic this morning. Kindly call us on the number displayed on your screen, and you can also send us a WhatsApp message. What are your thoughts? You know, Hauwa, with only 38.32% of candidates passing, the worst in 5 years, this crisis really reflects more than just, exam failure. It appears that our public educational system is declining. I mean, that number is a huge one. And we begin to ask, what exactly is the problem? Is it that, the Nigerian students no longer have the hope and the dreams to, go into higher institutions after writing their exams? I remember rightly what you said before we started the program while we're running through what we'll be discussing today. You said the educational system has really gone down, and is it that students will no longer pursue their dream to go into higher institutions? And I said, I think it's high time people need to start learning skills religiously, because our educational system really is not supportive. I think we have a caller on the line.
Yes, let's take our first caller. Hello, good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
All right, what is your name?
My name is Tony Eze.
All right, good morning, Tony Eze. How is Benway this morning?
Benway is fine.
All right, great. Let us hear your thoughts on this particular issue.
Well, the state of education is going down. Every one of us knows it. It's going down, down, down. And children, they are not ready to learn because of miracle centers. As I'm talking to you, past this exam, I knew so many students that went into class with their handset. So because of handset to Google and then copy, what they are doing is Google and copy. So it's going down. That's the reality. It's going down. And government is not doing the needful. Government is not doing the needful, because I knew when we went to school, during our own time, there are supervisors that supervise both students, supervise both tutors, but supervise people that are working in the school. So everybody has to teach up. But today, I don't know whether government still have a supervisor that will supervise education, or those working in education in their own field. It's not happening. So it's as if things in Nigeria is as no man business. Everybody is doing as they like. There is some teachers that went to class once in a while, have other business doing. So many of them. If there are those that are expecting education, I don't think anybody will keep his or her occupation and then have another business that they mine more than government's own. It's quite unfortunate. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. Really, it's quite unfortunate. What are your thoughts?
Well, as Tony yesterday mentioned that there are a couple of factors that do affect the standard of education that we do have here in Nigeria, especially when it comes to the normalization of malpractices, when it comes to writing examinations, and which shows that a lot of students are relaxed when it comes to writing their examinations, because they know, as he mentioned, there are miracle centers, as they are called. So when they do go to those miracle centers, they get help, they get aid when they come to write their examinations. So they do not have to bother themselves in making sure, that they study well and properly and be prepared for those examinations. All right, Memuna, let's take our next caller. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, thank you for joining us. What is your name and where are you calling from?
My name is calling from Adamu.
All right, good morning. What is your take on this issue?
Yes, the public education sector has died since in the early 2000s. And the irony of it is that you will see those teachers who think they are not qualified. Actually, they are qualified. It's because they don't have the mind in putting their best in that aspect. You go to their house, they stay in a very good house, they pay their salary monthly, yes, they're in the public sector, but the school is not worth looking at. You go to public school, the private school, the building is very okay, the environment is okay, but the teachers are paid less. So I don't know how this one comes to existence, but the problem here is that the public school in Nigeria needs infrastructure. In my state, in my local government, people are still sitting on that tree. I pray maybe after this I'll go out, I will screenshot one or two places for you. You see it yourself. I'll send it through the WhatsApp line. You will see it. So, in the other aspect of it, when it comes to all this WAEC and the thing that these people are talking that there is a poor result, it has been there since. Children are not writing WAEC now. They copy on the board. That is the truth. So, then all this one that they say that decline, no, it has been there. It's not that they used to assist them. Parents don't even do their work in helping the children to study very well in school. You see, they will pay school fees, pay extra, what do you call it, fee for assistance in the exam. Some will leave school in the town and come to a miracle center in a particular place. So, the thing has died since. The only way is that the private schools are doing very well. The government should privatize those schools all. That is it. The government should privatize all public schools. We have people that are ready to invest in public schools. Take, for example, which are divided into 6 schools. Don't you think people will buy those schools that belongs to the government? And they will handle it very well, more than the government. So that is my take. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much for that take. He has a different perspective when it comes to it, saying that the government should privatize public schools. But when you look at it, not everybody can afford paying for a private school. And at the end of the day, if we are void of having public schools, that in itself will be very detrimental to the educational system in Nigeria. And aside from that, when you look at it, talking about infrastructure, that in itself needs to be a total overhaul, because if there isn't a conducive environment for students to learn and do their learning, it would definitely be hard for them for learning, retention, and want to even go to school, because we've had cases, especially in the north, that the parents would say, why would they send their children to school? That's why we have a lot of cases of, high cases of children that are out of school. Why would they send their children to school when, firstly, they have no classes, they sit outside, and secondly, even if they go to school, they do not learn anything, they just play. So why would they send their children to school? All right, we have another caller. Hello, good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much, Ma. Beautiful morning to you, and let me quickly appreciate the Trust TV for giving us this ample opportunity, at least say our mind, especially when it comes to nation issue. Thank you very much once again. You are on to SMB calling from Lagos. Seriously, this issue of entire educational issue need to be reviewed. Sometimes I ask myself, are we for real? Because we all know that the backbone of development in each and every country has to do with education. Why are you there on that stage? It's because you acquire the knowledge. What are we trying to show now is that if you look at our educational aspect, for instance, now, apart from the exam fee and some private schools, I never mentioned, I will not generalize, but in some private schools, there are certain papers before you eat, you have to make some payment at the same time. After when you make the entire exam fee, there are certain papers that at least they will require some certain fee before you pay for it. Who does that? For what purpose? If you ask them what purpose are you asking for this payment? Nobody will tell you the reason. So it shows that the miracle centers issue is affecting almost everywhere in the educational aspect, and something has to be done. Now, for instance, look at the just of recent, almost 4 months, primary school teachers were on strike in the General Capital Territory, Abuja. So you see, it's like the managers who manage the educational affairs are not serious. At least, for how long shall we remain in this present predicament? Are we expecting international community to come and reduce our nation for us? We cannot achieve that unless if we are educated. The insecurity issue, the out-of-school children, and so on and so forth. So shall we remain at this present predicament and we keep on thinking that everything is okay? We are not criticizing the government. At least the government are doing their bit. But the issue is, where is the problem? What, as a country, as a nation, what do we have to do that we are not doing? What is it that they are doing that's not supposed to be done? The facilities issue. Are we for real? Go to our primary school, go to our secondary school. Are they facilitated? What in the United Nations chart, each and every country has to at least put like 26% of the budget in education. Are we doing that? What about the capacity building training for the teachers? In those days, we have teachers' college. Today, we don't have it. While the world is moving into science, technology, and innovation. So are we for real? That's the question I'm asking. Each and every state has commissioner of education. We have minister of education. We have academia. We have professors. We have so many things. Why can't they sit down together and do the needful for betterment of this country? Otherwise, we keep on remaining in this present predicament, which I don't pray for. Thank you very much once again. I remain SMB from Lagos, and I wish you all the best.
All right, thank you so much. for those comments. Memuna, what do you think?
He made a valid point. I would pick, teachers going on strike. Excuse me. When teachers go on strike, it disrupts, the academic calendar.
Absolutely.
You have, teachers, okay, let's take, for example, the last teacher strike that happened in the FCT. Teachers, left the classroom for months. And then when they came back, we did a report on that. We saw these students, out of touch. They really don't know where to pick up from. And it's a curricular something. You have, a schedule that will guide you through, a structure that will guide you through that term. And when the teachers go on strike, it would definitely disrupt the academic calendar at the end of the day. These students don't have enough time to read and get ready for their exams. And it's a very huge factor that in Nigeria today, that teachers are still going on strike for either unpaid salaries, for demands that needs to be met. And it's just so sad. We have another caller on the line. Hello, good morning. Thank you for calling in. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Thank you very much. Good morning. My name is Musa Bala. I'm calling you from Kaduna.
Thank you for calling in this morning. Please kindly share your thoughts.
Okay. Let me quickly touch on the flood issue in Lagos. The truth of the matter, Lagos is sinking on a yearly basis. Probably the authority are not taking the necessary step or are not even telling the people the truth. And about the criminal suspect in Lagos also, I cry for the victim's family. If you look at what they are saying, they need justice, which is true. But if I remember the same Lagos state where they made law that any kidnapper whose victim died in his act of kidnapping should be killed or should be go on dead by hanging. That same year, the former famous kidnapper Evans was arrested. What happened later? Nothing. Up to now, that judgment has not been taken on Evans after confessing that many of his victims died in his hand with evidences. And now let's come back to education. You see, in Nigeria, we have relegated education to the barest minimal level. When you look at almost in all our state of the federation, look at the conditions of our public primary schools. I'll give you an example. In Kaduna State, up to this moment I'm talking to you, make your fact finding that even graduates who have been working, teaching in primary schools for the past 5-7 years are not yet collecting up to 50,000 naira as salary. So they just decided to either go once or second or once or twice in a week. And that is not helping matters. And at the same time, the government and the public, we hardly celebrate academic excellence. Look at the way just the federal government celebrated sports. I'm not against them celebrating sports, but are we celebrating academic excellence to any level? We recently have 2 Nigerians that made us proud at the world stage. Did we hear the government say anything about them? And if you look at the educational requirement for politicians, it makes pursuit for education maybe not interesting. And the way we run our exams and all these things, we are not helping matters. So we are not ready. If we actually want to ensure that while performance and university performance get it better, we need to go back to the roots. But the roots are being neglected. Primary school teachers in Nigeria are one of the most worst treated people in most of the state of federation across all regions. I've just given an example of Kaduna State. Go to other states and see the infrastructure situation of our primary schools. Go and look at interview primary school teachers to even, understand their capacity, just to show you that the government and even the public do not give care about education. If you go and interview them, look at them physically, look at them intellectually, look at the structure at which they are producing these people to secondary school, you will understand that, yes, we are not ready. Even our secondary school have started making such appearances in most of the states. They are not safe to call home about. Honestly speaking, we need to redesign, restart from the word go. It is a developmental plan that we may not get it now, but maybe when we make the serious plan, probably in the next 10, 20 years, we'll start looking at change that, yes, we are ready for education. God bless trust. God bless all the trust coming through. I hope God will continue to support you more this year. Good morning.
All right, thank you so much for that. He made a point saying that in each and everything, foundation does matter.
Absolutely.
And the foundation in the education system, education sector is being neglected. And that is absolutely true. When you look at it, when you look at our primary schools, they're not really, anything to write home about. And with not having a good foundation when it transitioned to secondary school, you wouldn't be on the right path. So that is why when it comes to, writing these examinations, at the end of the day, the structure is not there. You've not learned what you needed to learn. That foundation that needed to be laid down has not been laid. So when it comes to it, you would be waiting for someone to aid you, to help you in writing those examinations. And aside from that, looking at the welfare of teachers, someone said that it's not that the teachers are not qualified, but then you have to continuously train those teachers for them to be on point, because the world is moving. There are new innovations, there are new ways of teaching, new curriculum as well. And if that is not, being put on that path of as well of changes, as well as being brought to light to new things in the education sector, then obviously the children would be lacking. All right, we have another caller on the line. Hello, good morning, and thank you for joining us.
This is Adamu. I'm calling from Gombe State.
Good morning, Abasinko. Thank you for joining us. How's Gombe this morning?
Gombe School, we have sun shining all over. Thank you.
All right, that is great. Go ahead.
Sincerely speaking, Trust TV is a wonderful television station. From the telephone man to the beautiful ladies on the platform, and Trust TV station itself. It's quite unique, and God will continue to strengthen and give you the basic ability to move forward or to support. Yes, coming to today's topic, our education is really dying. And the Azik, the Awolowo, the Tafa Balewa, name them, they all attended these schools that we have thrown away to the dustbin. If these people that became the timbers and the caliber attended from the foundation, they attended those schools, what makes it dead by now? We need to go back to the drawing board. Sincerely speaking, I'm not happy with the decay of schools in this country. Presently, I want the government to kind of ensure that there is revitalization. They should make sure schools are really looked into. Why am I saying this? Each sport can be given due consideration. Schools also should be given a due consideration. The last caller from Kaduna spoke my heart. Everything I wanted to say, he has said it all. Sincerely speaking, there are some there are a game that went to, I think, London. I watched it on the TV yesterday. When Fatima was reading the news at 9 p.m., this lady went and excelled and made us proud. These are the kind of people I want things to be given to. I'm not against people and not being given anything. But we need education. Because any country that is not based on education is going to fail. Because you have illiterate. I do vividly remember there was a governor one time when he was being interviewed, Fanta, Coca-Cola, ginger ale, the mineral resources that we have. So how are we going to be producing graduates that cannot read, cannot distinguish between good and bad? A graduate finished from university, he doesn't know how to spell his name. I've seen it all. He cannot write his name. In our security forces, there are a lot of people that are having first certificates. is because the babies have not been really taken good care of. I have this to say. Our rulers must have an intense hatred for wickedness because they are wicked. If they are not wicked, they should do the right thing. Nothing is brighter than the sun, but it fails when there is an eclipse. When there is eclipse of the moon, the sun cannot move. How much easier are human thoughts to be eclipsed by evil? That bot in our lives must be extinct. Our rulers must throw it away. And they must have the touch of love. Their heart must be an enabling place to have love for human beings. Thank you this morning. God bless Just TV for your wonderful job. Continue to do the best for this country. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you so much, Abasen Kong, for that. As he mentioned, and the earlier caller mentioned as well, he said Nigeria does not promote when it comes to educational successes. We had two young ladies from here in Nigeria win a competition that should be of a national, pride when it comes to it. But then at the end of the day, we would have to look at the root cause of what is causing this decay in our educational system. And him saying that there are lots of people that would graduate from the university and they would not be able to write their name. That means that foundation is not there for them, to build on when it comes to their education. All right, let us look at some WhatsApp messages that we have this morning. We have a WhatsApp message from Usman Santarai Beti from Jamaica in Yola State. He says, good morning, the Daybreak anchors. My take on the topic on the discussion is public education dying and failing like a pack of cards because those charged with leadership failed to do the needful by giving public education the desired attention, and as such, the effect was quite evident in the overall performance of candidates who sat for this year's West African Senior School Certificate examinations, where the students fail, and it's the worst performance in 5 years. Schools' basic needs are not being provided, in spite of the huge budget allocation to the education sector. All right, thank you for that, Usman Santaraki.
I think we have another one. You could go ahead.
All right. We have another one from Comrade Nansat in Georgia. Said, good morning, Trust TV. The question as to whether public education is dying is more or less an understatement. First, the government is not committed to funding education in Nigeria. Secondly, there is total lack of supervision by the authorities, and the reason for this dearth is because most government officials send their children to private schools. Remember, between 2018 or thereabouts, when Nigerian universities were on strike, the then chairman of the National Universities Commission went to London to celebrate his son's graduation from a British university. If all private schools are deprivatized, then they will be committed by all and for all our students. It is then that the public education can be revived. Thank you. All right, thank you, Comrade Nansant. He made a point saying that if those private schools are deprivatized, then each and every person has to go to a public school. Then there would be supervision. Then it would be put as a priority when it comes to education.
But then also, let's take a look at funding as well.
Absolutely.
Not every parent, can be able to afford paying for their wards in a private school. I think we have another caller on the line. Hello, good morning. Thank you for calling in. What's your name and where are you calling from?
All right, we lost the caller.
Yeah.
All right, now that is all we have for this segment. Thank you for all your calls, your thoughts, and your opinions. Your voice does matter here on Daybreak Interactive. We'll be coming right back after this short break, and we'll be diving right into an analysis on what is going on in the education sector. Don't go away.